1, 2, is this on?
One thing you'll notice watching WWE nowadays compared to the past is how much the show has changed. For better or worse, there are many ways the product differs, of which we'll highlight today as we examine why WWE just feels different. The first difference we'll touch on is the look of the shows. WWE in the early 2000s were known for big pyro displays at the start of each broadcast. Raw, SmackDown, and pay-per-view events all had unique set designs that gave each show its own identity and feel. The removal of pyro for Raw and SmackDown events, and even pay-per-views for a time, meant the shows quite literally started with less of a bang. The
Series.
WWE also began to do away with event-tailored set designs after switching to HD in 2008. Soon all shows would have the same stage setup. Gimmick pay-per-views were also introduced. This meant instead of using a stipulation as a blow-off to a rivalry, a gimmick match would simply be another match in a feud, unlike before when the likes of a Hell in a Cell match was only held if the storyline required it.
Hell in the Cell!
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Hell in the Cell match!
Oh my God! Hell in a Cell!
Hell in the Cell!
Oh my God!
Hell in a Cell!
Hell in a Cell! My God!
Hell in a Cell!
Oh my God!
Hell in a Cell! Hell in the Cell! Hell in the Cell! Hell in a Cell!
Hell in a Cell!
Hell in a Cell! Hell in a Cell!
The gimmick pay-per-view format meant that stipulations like these would be featured every year no matter what, purely because it was on the event schedule. Thankfully, under Triple H's regime, the WWE have begun to slowly phase out certain gimmick premium live events.
Hell in the Cell, Money in the Bank, Elimination Chamber, maybe those things should all go in.
Here's hoping show-specific sets make a comeback next. There's also been a noticeable shift when it comes to the fans in the arenas. The Attitude Era was famous for the sea of crowd signs that would dominate camera shots. These signs could get very creative or very offensive depending on who you ask, but it was all just a sign of the times, you could say. Crowd signs were the original social media. Nowadays, signs are far less common. Fans instead do a lot of their talking online or by chanting. Chants were also a big part of the Attitude Era, where they were unsurprisingly X-rated.
Roll of fatty for this pimp daddy, light that blood up and say, yeah! You are now and will forever be an asshole.
Listen to these moronic New York fans! What's the matter with you people? Another anatomy chant.
Be nice to me, or you won't get a future XFL franchise.
You're excited, or at least you think you are.
Shut up, I'm talking!
There you go. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
Do you hear what they're calling you?
It's deafening. Come on, he's not really an a-hole.
It sounds to the great one that there's 15,000 Rock fans calling you a slut. Don't talk about Tory like that.
Hot hands by the Intercontinental Champion. Finding their mark on the game. Shane is not a... He's not... Tell him he's not a... Unflattering chant directed at Shane McMahon.
The hijacking of the shows was less frequent back in the day, however. If the fans did overshadow a match or segment, it was usually because their chants were specific to the show or wrestlers involved. Modern fans have been seen hijacking matches by completely ignoring the action in the ring, a practice that has drawn influence from fans on social media.
I think they're chanting, "We want Lesnar."
John Cena thrives under these situations.
And I do like the gameplay. I don't like you getting sucked in or the rest of us.
Now Lesnar delivering the
Great right-handed blows.
this thing. He's done everything he can, everything in his ability, and it still can't pick up a fall.
Social media or not, listening to the fans has always been paramount in wrestling. It's something people have lauded Vince McMahon for doing in the past, and heavily criticized him for not doing in the modern era. No matter what the fans want, the buck always stops with Vince.
See, I don't ask my audience what they want. I tell them what they want, and then they like it. I don't listen to anybody except me.
You could also argue that fans simply had more to shout about in the past, and how could they not, given the storyline and amount of star power featured on television every week. Raw and SmackDown was drama-filled, cliffhanger-style crash TV. It was appointment viewing that you couldn't afford to miss even one show of.
It ain't a race thing, it ain't a color thing, it's a me kicking your ass thing, and can't nobody stop.
Where to, Stephanie? Go to hell. And how many times did we consummate the marriage? All right, Triple H. Come on out. Come on out, you rapist.
Wow. Down goes Shane. Down goes Vince.
Life sucks, and then you die.
Okay, well, I'll see you later. What the hell is this?
No.
What the?
Wait a minute. Good God Almighty! For God's sakes! Oh my God!
Now you know, you dumb son of a bitch.
Oh my God!
Holy shit!
The game's in that car!
I see you for what you truly are. A no good lying bitch.
After the Attitude Era ended, the WWE returned with compelling television as the Ruthless Aggression Era was upon us.
He's helpless. He's helpless. As I said, he's defenseless. Look at that. The Undertaker raising Jeff Hardy's hand.
Adam, you've been married and divorced multiple times before you were 30 years old. I think that speaks volumes right there.
I think it speaks volumes that you've had one serious relationship by the time you're 30.
It appears and we have just seen the reuniting of DX!
These days, any big event that occurs on WWE is immediately plastered all over social media.
But let me go ahead and tell you.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Plus, with prominence of DVRs and online pirating, there's less of an onus to tune in live. That and the fact that the angles and product aren't as compelling except for a select few storylines. For example, the story of the Bloodline took the wrestling world by storm in the 2020s, proving how successful layered storytelling can be in pro wrestling.
I don't give a damn what the tribal chief say. Get out of my ring!
Oh no!
I got you!
Oh my God!
And I'm out too.
Oh my God!
Something that has sadly been few and far between since the late 2000s. The late 90s and early 2000s were not only filled with engaging storylines that kept fans tuning in, but they were also jam-packed with action. The Attitude Era is famous for the fast-paced, all-go main event matches.
If Mr. McMahon is back there,
People's sunglasses! It's the most electrifying move in sports entertainment today! The people's elbow! Jericho! Stars of the moonsault! No! We got a new champion!
In the year 2000, these bouts were complemented in the mid-card by thrilling tag team encounters, technical in-ring clinics, and hardcore madness that could end up absolutely anywhere.
Trap in the ring with a big show. Oh, look at this! Look at this! He's like Mexican on! That's amazing!
The match quality only got better during the Ruthless Aggression Era. The technicians became main eventers, but you still had your stars. Meanwhile, the women's and cruiserweight divisions also put in strong work between the ropes. Today, the standard of match and work rate is still incredibly high, but unlike the buffet style we were treated to before, matches largely feel the same. You'll see similar spots and moves in both the opening contest and main event.
Rollins with a suicide dive, like a jump on the set.
Efforts to vary the show, such as the introduction of 205 Live and the 24/7 title, failed due to a lack of creative investment. Past eras also in many ways set an unattainable standard, especially when we look back at some of the big spots that were performed in match types such as Hell in a Cell and TLC.
And Tyler down a fighting dead. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, my God. Oh, what a sadistic thing. A toe slam. No, going over Tucker. No. And oh, my God. We got it. That's the final lead. Swanton. 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 Oh, my God.
We mentioned the star power already, which we'll now explore in more detail. The Attitude Era had several generational talents on the roster, all at the same time. The Rock and Austin were like A1 and A2. Meanwhile, Triple H was the top heel, with Kurt Angle and Chris Jericho on the ascend, not to mention veterans like Mick Foley and The Undertaker. Following the Attitude Era, WWE needed new stars to lead the company, and much like the Attitude Era had numerous legendary talents all working at once, the Ruthless Aggression Era saw the dawn of 4 more all-time greats who made up the iconic OVW class from 2002. John Cena was the standpoint, becoming the face of the company and staying on top for over a decade uninterrupted.
Thank you.
In comes Mickey Henson. 2 new champion. No. He hit the spear. He hit the spear. Into the spear. Cover. 2. No.
His legs ever been on.
Oh, my God. Double arm area tonight. The arm over. Will it be? No. No. Oh, no. Come on. KO. Or got the cover. Got the RKO.
Elbow. Code breaker. Looking to retain the title. Gutsy John Cena.
He's flying.
Wait for the leg drop. Here's the cover. Hook to the leg. He delivered. Chin was it. Into the cover. He doesn't even know it. Cena kicks out. And Big Show. Choke slam. This one's over. See you later, Cena. Tell the kick out. Cena's in trouble. Here's the cover. Hook to the leg. Cena kick out.
It led to much fan frustration, as well as a downturn in business and the product itself. WWE heavily relied on Cena at the cost of creating other stars who could match up to John.
A lot of the reason the reactions are the way they are is for quite a few years, WWE didn't step up to the plate and correctly provide new main event talent.
That was until Roman Reigns began to be groomed as the next face of WWE. Attempts to repeat the Cena formula failed, which led to some bad years creative-wise.
Suffering succotash, son. It was not easy to say. Little old Roman, he climbed that beanstalk. And would you like to know what he found? You think I did damage last year?
The lack of star power in the Reigns and later Cena years led to a reliance on part-time past stars.
Turn back the clock. Goldberg is back.
It's why Brock Lesnar held the world title for what seemed like years on end. Roman Reigns' multiple year-long title reigns seemed to break the trend of part-timers as champions, as Roman was finally at the level where he could carry the company like Cena did. However, it once again showed the over-reliance on one main star. On top of the tremendous star power we previously saw in the main event, the rest of the card was filled out with a strong roster, with so many unique talents that offered something different. We spoke about their skill between the ropes already, but on top of that, the wrestlers benefited from good creative, as it felt like everyone on the card had a purpose and a role to play on the show. The mid-card storylines were given time to play out, leading to some brilliant television. Unlike in the modern era, where it feels like many wrestlers are just making up the numbers.
This is a different group of guys. You know, they're not as ambitious. I just don't think they necessarily want to reach for that brass ring.
Add to that the contrast in the in-ring style, and you have quite a different product.
Today, it feels like it's more of a you do your stuff, I'll do my stuff. Just one move after another move, and nobody's selling anything. It doesn't mean anything. If it doesn't mean anything, then why are you doing it?
The product has changed so much. It's kind of soft. There's too much pretty, not enough substance.
A lot of the difference in the show comes down to the change to a more family-friendly PG product. Previous eras were built on edginess and pushing the envelope, from the violence the portrayal of women to the colorful language. It was what helped catapult the WWF into the mainstream, with TV ratings that helped defeat and see off WCW in the Monday Night War, as competition helped to breathe innovation. The lack of competition coincided with a drop in ratings and overall product interest. This continued year on year, as the show itself continued to get worse and longer, topped off by the move to TV PG.
Bologna, fudge, and mustard! My life is being ruined by the internet! I'm gonna win the whole fudging thing. It's a PG show, it's the best I could do. What are you, 9? Most of our viewers are around that age.
However, today, AEW's competition has forced the WWE to improve under the leadership of Triple H, and we may be starting to see some of the glory years come back, especially as pay-per-view shows are being hosted in a variety of different cities, such as Puerto Rico and London, which have created a phenomenal atmosphere.
Roman clearly irritated, and now Roman's gonna pout. But again, how do you expect to be treated?
So we can only hope that it continues. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our similar video on 10 dark moments that WWE want you to forget. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.